So again, and actually, hopefully nobody minds their picture being in this video. We'll just be using it with internal type of. Well, actually, usually I'll kind of post stuff on YouTube, but just for a matter of for sharing. But
Hmm.
if anybody has any privacy issues, I can have alternate modes and make it private and things like that as well, so that's not searched. I know that's something we have to kind of be aware of in this time. But so
Kelly just texted me. She said she can't get into the meeting. So I don't know why she's having trouble. What should I
um,
tell her? Go back to the link again?
yeah,
Go back to your email?
yeah, go. Well, go. Yeah, she should have it in the email. That do is to go to this address, and this is kind of what simulate what the students would see. Kind of, we're going to kind of work backwards. I'm going to show you what the end result is. Oh, I have some people in the waiting room. So we have Howard and Kelly. Hey, Howard. Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
All right. So, as we were saying, this is a way to present lessons and get student response and have a discussions where everybody can have input, but be anonymous. Ideally, it's done in real time, but there is an on-demand, or as they call it, student-paced version of that. So here's our objectives. Is that we're going to learn how to install and use the Chrome plugin. That's really all it is. Kelly, you were talking about, how do we connect this to Google? So
Uh-huh.
all it really is, it's an add-on into Google Slides. All right.
Okay.
So once we go through that slide, we're going to see how simple it is to add interactive questions. Once you set those questions, then you'll go to the Pear Deck site and in the dashboard, and that's what I'm going to show you kind of here today, is what you'll see on your side of it, how you can see those results. And then finally, if you do want to grade it, there's some plugins in Google Sheets that you can do, called one called Flubaroo, that will grade it for you. So it might sound like a lot, but it's really, you kind of do it a couple times, and I don't. It can be done very quickly. All right. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to work on today. I'm sure there's some other features that are available, but I think the basic ones are good to start with. All right. So actually, I'm going to skip ahead here because I did. All right. So on this slide, so if you had a math lesson, all right, you would have something here that would say, you could have this graphic on here. Now, do you guys? There should be a pop-up there, right? That shows you. Um,
On the right, 1, 6, or 12.
yes, good.
Yes, I
So,
see that.
so this is what your students would see. All right. So go ahead and answer something in there. All right. And from as a teacher, what I can do is show this right on the screen. So everybody answered 12. All right. If somebody didn't answer the correct answer, maybe you could talk about that. I think there's a way here too. I'm looking to see. Uh, I know there's a way. I think if you're using the teacher dashboard, you can see the students' names, but when you show it on the screen, then the students won't see it. I believe, let's see here, there was, I think there's another view of this that I was trying to look for. I don't want to spend too much time looking for it, but you kind of get the idea with that. If we're doing self-paced, you wouldn't be looking at that anyway. So that would be one way of doing multiple choice, right? Everybody got that answer there. And then I can go back. The next question, right? Same question, but now what did I do? I put it in there as text input as opposed to multiple choice, right?
Right.
Right.
So now you have to physically type in the number. All right. So waiting for two more people. I can see here there's only, oh, and then we have three responses. And then, so it looks like they display this as like a graph more so. So everybody answered 12, I can see from that. All right. So I probably should have also put in there a text answer, and it would show you all of your text answers on the screen. And I was mentioning before, you do have a teacher view, which you can remove text answers if they're inappropriate, or you can make them anonymous. Actually, I think they're anonymous by default. So that basically, shows you how you can turn a presentation, or the result of turning a presentation into an interactive form. And now, so if we were done, obviously you'd probably have more of those questions than two. So now I would go into, or I ended the show, and the takeaways is, I'll kind of show you what this looks like. It's basically what I interpret as an exit ticket. So I can paste that into the browser, and it generates a little document here for some kind of reflection questions is the way I interpret it. So taking a little bit of time here to do that, but hopefully get this momentarily. Let's go back. All right. Well, and you can see it does integrate with your Google Classroom, so you could post that if you wanted to. All right, and then so you can see here that it broke out all your answers into a separate document. So it's doing a lot of the behind the scenes type of stuff, and I haven't used this feature too much, but it's that's where I've gotten to from that.
Oh, I see. So like say my son was doing a Pear Deck with his chemistry teacher today.
Right.
And I called the teacher and say, well, why does my son have an 80? He should have 100. So she'll take up the Pear Deck sheet and she can see only Andrew's answers and show me, well, this is what he did. This is why he got it wrong. Right.
I would imagine so. Cause I'm looking, here we go. So, cause I have not all interactive slides. It's taken my whole presentation. And then, but if you scroll down, it says you chose 12 on this one and 12 on that one. So yeah, you could kind of do some comments on that or something like that.
Okay.
Again, I think that's kind of a little more on the advanced side, but there is some opportunity there. So I am looking to get back. Oh, I'm in the app. So now I'm going to go to Pear Deck. So that's kind of shows you what what the students would be seeing and how you can use it in the classroom. So that's kind of the end result. Anybody have any questions on like the end result or what you can hopefully do with it?
Maybe you answered this at the beginning, but is it better for kids to use a cell phone when they're doing like a smartphone?
I don't think it really makes any difference. When I did it in class, I did have them do it all with their phones, and they didn't have any problems. Under our current situation, though, you might find that more of them are doing it on a on a computer.
Okay.
It shouldn't really matter too much, though. All right. So, any other questions on like kind of the end result where we're trying to get to?
Yeah, one question here, Jeremy. For so much of what I do, geometry involves equations, symbols, diagrams. So do I need to limit myself to multiple choice or fill in the blank type
No,
questions?
I don't think so. And I'm going to get to that with the answer types. But when I was at the session, there were a lot of math people in there, and you can do things with graphs and draggable items and things like that. So you might be able to kind of figure that answer a little bit more when I show you how to start creating. I haven't done that so much in my lessons, but from what I learned, that it does have a lot of use for those types of classes.
Okay, good.
All right. So on the back end of this, all right, so Howard, this is kind of where you were going before, not into the join PD, but once you get into, you create an account on Pear Deck. You have a home screen, which from here, when it connects to your drive, and we'll be doing this shortly, it sees all of your your Google Slides in there. So it automatically links to there. So that's kind of in the creation process. And then afterwards, so we're kind of working backwards here, but now we have all the sessions that you've done. And this is what I like to look at here. Oh, so I have to end the session. I guess I didn't. And then I can export it to a spreadsheet. So, that data doesn't disappear. If you did want to use this for some grades, now you can go into here and you can see that you have, everybody's input. So we'll go on to later about how to do some self-grading on this. But it does, if you had answers like writing things in there, you could kind of look at them all. And I like that from a point of kind of just not being all over the place. I can look at everybody's answers to one question all at one time and then continue on from there. All right. So with that said, now let's go through actually the creation process. And if anybody wants to follow along in another tab, you know, and maybe I'll try to kind of do the same thing. You can, but
Can I
otherwise,
ask you something, Jeremy? Maybe
Yeah.
I couldn't log in because I never made an account yet.
now for as a student, you don't need to make an account. So you being in that session, you basically were a student on that
All right.
joinpd.com. All right. So the first thing to do, and I don't know if anybody got email, would be to go to a Google or a Google slide, and all you have to do is go up to add-ons. All right, and I kind of have this in the screenshot. You go get add-on, and then you're going to look for Pear Deck. All right, and you would install that, and then
Jeremy, I'm sorry, but if I'm going in as a teacher, I need to create an account before I do this part,
yeah,
right?
for
Well, you can use your Google
Probably.
account, I think,
No, I
right?
know, but before I say get add-on, shouldn't I create an account with Pear Deck?
I don't think you have to. You only
Okay.
need to do that when you want to kind of view the results and administer, kind of work through presenting the show, if you know what I'm saying. So you can like, and that's kind of what the order. I would set up your whole PowerPoint first, and then do all your interactive questions, and then you go to their site, and then you can start running a session or something, you know, from there.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So work first just in Google Slides. You know, get your presentation going the way you want it to be, and then, as I was saying, so then to do that, you would get the add-on, and then after you add it, then in your add-ons menu, you see here Pear Deck for Slides, and then you open the add-on. So on the side here is all of your options that you have for your question options. So for this one, and also I will say, as soon as you do that add-on and you put a question, you're going to have this bar on the bottom and this stuff in your notes tab. Don't erase those, because those are kind of the coding that goes into the program. So it makes it interactive on their site. All right. So, so you would have.
Jeremy, real quick,
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to, it's been a while, put a PowerPoint into my Google Slides.
Okay.
Is it just a drag and drop, or it's
Yep.
like add a new?
Yeah, you can just drag it right into your drive and then right click on it and say open with slides.
So,
Yeah, Barbara, write that down.
Yes, I am.
This is all going to be a video that I'm going to share with you guys, and you can go back and rewind and do whatever you need to. So don't feel
So,
too
Okay.
pressured,
but Jeremy, if we are logged in, right, into our Google account,
right?
we can just add on that Pear Deck thing to any Google slideshow we have, or
Exactly.
that
Yes.
point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So let's go, and actually I'll make a new one here. So Joe, what might be a math problem?
Identify the type of triangle.
All right. And so, and also, oh, one of the other things I want to point out too, if you guys aren't aware of, if you go to insert image and you can do a search for the web from web,
Right.
it'll do a Google search. And instead
Oh,
of
okay.
downloading and copying and pasting, we can just go to here and
Oh,
you can just drag it right over into your presentation.
okay.
That's easier.
Yeah, right. So I know that's something that I kind of missed for a little while, but I think is useful. So Joe, would this be a text response, or how do you want them to input your?
It would text, so like equilateral or isosceles or scalene, something like that.
Okay, so all I have to do then, and so yeah, you would have your text box on here, right? You know, you would say, what type of triangle is this? All right, and then you would just say text, And as soon as I do that, so you have your little script running here, it puts in the footer and that text thing here that codes it into there. And that's it. You have just
Oh,
set
wow.
this up to accept answers.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that might be kind of interesting for that, let's see if I can, actually, I don't even have to delete that. If I say, instead of that, and now this is one thing that I haven't perfected yet, but is supposed to work. So drag the circle over the equilateral triangle, we'll say. Maybe that's
Okay.
something. Forgive my spelling if that's incorrect. So if we did that, yeah, I can see that's, but I'm not too worried now. Maybe we have our, and then if we do draggable, oh, that's right, it's a dot, so it's going to put that on there. So you would say drag the dot over the, the equilateral triangle, and then that is another option. All right, that's some I haven't used too much, but I think that is kind of a cool feature to do. Drawing, I'm not too sure how that is kind of works either, but these are the most common ones: text, choice, and numbers. I would probably start with those, and then if you want to get fancy, move into these two.
Okay.
All right. So that's what I did. So that's the first part of this, right? So again, going back, we just get the add-on, we open this add-on panel, and then you just go in here and you choose whichever type of answer you want your students to input. All right.
Okay.
So that's preparing your project or your presentation, and then basically you're going to share it. So that at that point, then we're going to Pear Deck. You have to create that account, and you can take, I guess these are the most recent ones. If I go to Open Drive, it'll show me all of my slideshow presentations. All right. So this is a student project that we did. And here's where you have some choice. I think for you guys, for this point in time, we are going to do student paste.
Right.
All right. So what that's going to do is bring up this screen. All right. And this is where you're going to get the information. So you can either do copy link and you can paste it like into your Google Classroom, or if you just want to make a new assignment out of it, all about that, you just press share to classroom, and check this out. I have all my classes in here. It recognizes them. And I can even choose it, whatever topics. So if you do have topics created, that would be the case for that. And this should look pretty familiar to everybody, right? This is your assignment screen. So it's going to create that link. You can title it, and it'll kind of put all that stuff right into there, so that it integrates directly right into your Google Classroom.
That's a nice feature.
Right. So yeah, so you don't have to keep bouncing around back and forth between different types of programs and applications. They're all nicely woven together there. All right. So so that is getting it or sharing it with your students. Is that what this one was? So you go to the site, and you should have had this screen, log in with Google, and then you just choose your presentation that you wanted to have presented to the students. As we said, we're going to do student paste. We got the link, and then and this is what the view looks like. And I showed you guys that as the students are in it. So I think what might be interesting to look at is what you're going to see on the student paste ones. All right, so I think this is the one I did. I did something on mental health. So you can see right here, student paste. All right. So all those sessions that you've created, you can then go back, and I can either turn off student paste to make it live, or if now I want to look at the results, I'm going to end the session, and then I'm going to now, like we did before, export it to a spreadsheet.
So are these sessions actually, oh, excuse me, are these sessions actually stored on the Google site or on the Pear Deck site?
On the Pear Deck site.
Okay.
But as you can see, you can export it as a spreadsheet, and now you're in Google Sheets, which then you can save
Okay.
to your drive. So you pretty much own it then.
Yeah,
All right.
damn
But
dogs.
you know, so this is what I did this one on using text input, so you can see all the answers that has been created from the that student pace session.
So
Right, but-
Jeremy, it appears that you have to end the session if you're going to move on to look at something else.
Well, if you want to look at the results, you do have to end the session, from what I see,
Okay.
right? And that, yeah, that's definitely a good thing to remember with that. All right. Any questions to this point or up to there?
I'm good.
So that's creating it, that's presenting it, that's viewing results. And then the last thing I was going to talk about was if you did want to do some self-grading. All right. For that, let's see, I think I got to go back to our presentation. Okay, here we go. So for this, you're going to get another add-on. So you just go to add-ons, and it's called Flubaroo.
What is it?
FLU AROO.
I see it.
It's in again, it's all in the PowerPoint that I gave you guys, or so this is it here. All right. Once you get it, just like we did with the Pear Deck add-on, now we go to Flubaroo and enable Flubaroo on this sheet. So you download it, then you enable it, and then you grade the assignment. And it's all kind of interactive here. So you can assign point values to different questions, and then you assign one line for the answer sheet. Yeah, I did put in the PowerPoint. Usually I'll go in there and add a row with my name on it and put in the correct answers. So basically I'm saying that Joe's answers are all the correct ones here now. And if I continue with that, it's processing, and now we can see that Howard got 2 out of 2, and so did Alice, and you can see their answers. All right. So that is the power of doing this, right? We kind of want to work smarter, not harder, right? So you can get your
Well, I
student.
noticed that when I import a slideshow that I did with PowerPoint, and this is probably I'm hoping that we can clear up anything, because I know Kelly and Barbara have PowerPoints. Does it have?
No, I use Google Slides. I transferred all my stuff to Google Slides.
So when I have a PowerPoint though, that I made into that I transferred as a Google slide.
Right.
So I open it, it's a Google slide, but it doesn't have the add-ons tab. It only has arrange, tools, and help. And I'm looking, like I just made one in PowerPoint that I converted to Google Slides, but it just says slide arrange tools. It doesn't have the add-ons.
All right, so that's all I got on this for what I kind of wanted to show you. Hopefully I didn't muddle that or make it too confusing. If you have anybody have any questions right now?
No, I
No.
might answer. I do have a question though, not about this though.
All right.
Can I ask you real quick?
Or you guys think you're going to use this anytime soon? Give it a shot?
I'm gonna play with it.
Okay.
I'm
gonna
try.